What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Chad.
I'm Tiffany.
And we're out here on Saguaro Lake, and we're gonna film a Q&A video for you guys, answering some questions about ourselves, about our rig, future plans, and what this channel's all about. We took all these questions from Instagram and from previous YouTube videos. Most of them are about the Kodiak, so we're gonna start off with how long we've owned the Kodiak. So when did we buy it?
I think it showed up around October or November of last year.
Yeah, we got it. We actually bought it kind of sight unseen. If you go back 14 videos or so, you'll see me fly out to Michigan and the adventure I had driving it back. So go check out that video. But next question. What are some previous builds that you guys have done? The last truck, if you go back to our Rubicon video, we had an F-250 rooftop tent on it. We towed the Jeep out to Lake Tahoe. That was our last build. The build before that, we had a Gen 1 black Raptor that we did like a Stage 4 Icon kit on it. There's one video up from Mojave Trail. We took the Jeep and the Raptor, so if you're interested in that truck, you can go see a little bit of content from the Mojave Trail video.
And the green Raptor.
We had the green Raptor before the black. Raptor. It was a Gen 1 4-door. We wrapped it military green. I don't think there's any videos. It made a cameo in the Mojave video. Our buddy Colton actually bought it, but don't think there's any YouTube videos. We had that truck before we had started any of this stuff.
So with these trucks, we've gone from tent camping on the ground to tent camping in the bed of the truck in the Raptor to a rooftop tent. Oh, the Jeep. The deep sleep mattress that we've got for the Jeep, so sleeping in the Jeep. And then also we did a rooftop tent on our last, I think it was the Ford F-250, we did a rooftop tent. And we really liked that, but we were kind of over the tent camping, so then along came the Kodiak and the camper.
Yep, and we have been planning the Kodiak build for a couple years. We ran into Adventure Driven. Go check them out, YouTube, Instagram. They have a LMVT military 1078 truck that is all built out. So that kind of inspired us to want to do something like that in the future. And so we were looking at those trucks. They're a little too industrial for what we wanted. So we ended up kind of coming up with the Kodiak and Cabover camper idea. And that's how we got here. So another question that's been asked a few times, how we're liking the Safety Plus steering stabilizer.
It's great.
It's been, yeah, she hasn't really driven the Kodiak, but it has really helped on highway speeds to just keep the Kodiak tracking straight down the road. 70 miles an hour, I can let go of the steering wheel, and the Kodiak will track straight down the road, no problem. So we have actually really been liking the Safety Plus.
Oh, something that a couple people have actually asked us already is, did you notice a difference with the Dynamat?
What have you thought so far?
I think it's definitely a little bit quieter. We were able to carry a conversation on our last trip attempt. We were able to carry on a conversation while we were on the highway. I will say it's not like being in a regular vehicle where the noise is completely canceled out. You still have a lot of that truck noise coming up, but
we haven't done the doors yet.
Oh, that's
we have door kits, and we haven't done the doors. It's just the floor, the roof. The back is 90% done. So once we have noticed a difference, maybe 20% of noise reduction. Once we do the doors, we'll do another review. But heat wise, I will say that we have noticed less engine heat coming through the doghouse. So heat wise, it definitely has made a difference.
All right, the big question, what is your miles per gallon?
It's kind of hard to lock down the miles per gallon. There's something with the speedometer. There's another question coming up, who tuned the the truck, and it's actually John Kennedy from Kennedy Diesel. Comes highly recommended, knows these Kodiaks really well. Talking to him, it's really hard for them, especially on the four-wheel drive for some reason, to get the speedometer dialed in. So, from my calculations, when we're towing, we get about 10 miles to the gallon. When it's just the truck and the camper, we get about 12 miles to the gallon. I don't have enough time driving the truck without the camper on it to know how much it gets just with the flatbed, but I would assume it would be better than 12, maybe to 14 or so.
How fast can we go on the highway in the Kodiak?
Safely 70 to 75 with the camper on and the 42s, and you know, it feels stable at 70 to 75, but we're so heavy, you know, with the camper on, we're pushing 16,000 pounds. Just want to be a little bit safer.
How do you like your wheel and tire setup?
I love the way it looks, and I love the tires. You know, it's the only tire you can get with the load rating that the Kodiak needs and an 80 mile per hour speed rating. So the tire is great. The wheels, we've known since the beginning that the wheels were just going to be too heavy. It's something that is pretty high on our priority list to order a set of 3-piece aluminum wheels from Stasworks. We just need to get the Kodiak reliable, and maybe, you know, get some boxes on the sides for storage, and then we're going to look at upgrading the wheels.
All right. Do you still have stock suspension?
We do have stock leaf springs front and rear. We have helper airbags, not air ride, which kind of help, you know, take out some of the jarring hits. The camper actually really helps settle the truck down with the extra weight. And we have Bilstein 5100 shocks. They needed to be replaced, and I personally, if I did it again and when we need shocks next time, I'll go to the King setup from HD Shocks. But the Bilstein 5100s, I don't think it's worth. If you need shocks, they're fine, but I don't think it's an upgrade.
All right, another question probably for you to answer.
Most of them.
Did you replace the AC condenser when you replaced the AC compressor?
We did. We actually went round and round for about 2 months with the AC system on the Kodiak. As you guys saw in a previous video, the evap core was all plugged up, so we were getting no flow. The AC compressor was leaking. We had a line that ended up leaking. So after the second time, we just went through, replaced all the lines, compressor, condenser, evap core. All the AC system is brand new.
All right, so what are some future upgrades you're going to do to the Kodiak? I know we just talked about the Staswork wheels and the boxes as well.
Wrapping.
We're gonna wrap it. We want to make the camper and the truck be a little bit more cohesive and more of like a one unit. Chad actually just recently put the bed back on the Kodiak. I think in one of our previous videos we were showing him taking the flatbed off. We did that for weight and to scoot the camper a little bit closer to the vehicle. However, we just found it to be a little bit more secure to put the bed back on and the truck to be a little bit more useful. We can take the camper off and use it as a regular truck if we need to, a little bit easier, rather than affixing the camper to it almost like permanently.
And I did, if you saw, the bed was almost too far back. I think they built it so that they could put stacks in, you know, exhaust stacks, but we're not going to do that. So I actually cut the mounts off and moved the bed like right where it's supposed to be. So it all looks, you know, finished, and it looks a lot better than when the bed was on before. And what I noticed the last time we drove it was the camper, I felt like the weight of it was too far forward, and the front was actually like kind of jarring, more so than it was before. So after I've test driven it, after putting the bed back on, I feel like the camper is right centered where it should be, and it's driving the best that it has driven. But we do want to get rid of the propane system as well on the camper. We've deleted the oven already, but we want to do a 12-volt fridge. And we want to do, well, our AC unit is actually having issues, so I think we're going to replace that with a Dometic RTX 1000 that we can run off the solar system and the battery bank. So stay tuned for those upcoming videos as well. So that's pretty much everything we want to do to the Kodiak and the camper. In the future, long term, we actually want to get a different camper that over the bed sits a little bit higher so I can sit up in bed, and then we'd like to get one with a slide out to be able to have a little bit more room if this is going to be a more permanent thing of us traveling.
And I think that kind of answers this next one. There might be some more things we want to throw in there, but what are some things you don't like about your setup? And yeah, the sitting up in bed
wheels,
thing. Yeah, the wheels.
too heavy.
You know, we need a little bit more storage, so we want, you know, the storage on the outside with the boxes and everything. That way, and we also, I think, when talk about doing like a slide out for our grill so that it can just stow away really easy. We've been watching a lot of people on YouTube build out things like that, and we like to pick and choose little things that we like about everyone else's builds and kind of make it our own and do it to ours. So that's definitely in the works as well.
We just want our rig to be reliable more than anything. Like, we just want to be able to use it. So, you know, you guys seen we've replaced basically everything on the truck at this point. There's more stuff that I've replaced and that part just shipped today, more repairs that we're doing. So it's kind of been never ending. So we just want to get to a point where the truck's usable and reliable and we don't have to worry about it on these trips. And another thing with the new camper, we thought about doing a pass through on this camper, but with just the square footage and just the bed height, you know, for me to be able to sit on bed, those are two things that we think we don't want this camper to be permanent on the truck. Whatever, if we do a pass through, like these are going to be, you know, become one unit. So we want to make sure that the camper is everything that we want. So we want to get, you know, some trips out of this one and find out more things that we like and more things that we don't like. And then, you know, in a year or two or so, we may, if we end up wanting to continue this, we may end up getting a different camper and mating the two permanently.
Do you have a name for the Kodiak?
We had gone back and forth. The previous owner, I think, was Arctic Kodiak is what he called it, but he lived in Michigan and it kind of fit for up there. We were gonna name it Yeti, you know,
didn't
but
make sense. It's
I
probably
mean,
never gonna see. Well, not.
we
never,
live in
but-
Arizona. You know, there's another question we can answer. We live in Gilbert, Arizona. We have an 1.5 acre property. We're about 20 minutes outside of Phoenix, for those curious where we live. But you know, Yeti doesn't really go with the, you know, area that we live in. So we decided that Desert Yeti probably fit the description of the truck and where we live and the terrain that we travel on. And so the name that we've come up with is Desert Yeti.
All right. The biggest question of all, I lied at the beginning. That one wasn't
The one
miles per gallon
that
was not the
Tiffany
biggest
doesn't
question.
want to answer.
The one that gives me anxiety every day. Okay. How much have you spent on the Kodiak?
And honestly, from us watching
Honestly.
other YouTube videos of people's similar
Made us
builds,
feel a little better about it.
you know, there's people that have just as much as we have into ours. There's people that have more, and you know, we have $10,000 or $15,000 probably and things in our head that we want to do to the Kodiak. So this number will evolve, but as of right now, we have about $85,000 into the truck and the camper. We spent $40,000 on the truck. We shipped it out here from Wichita because I only made it halfway. You know, and then all the endless repairs that we've done that is all documented on the channel, adding all that stuff up. The camper cost us about $10,000. We've put about $6,000 into that. So, but like I said, for four-wheel drive diesel 4-door with all the living amenities that you could want, be able to tow our toys. You know, we have the boat that we're on. This is our 07 Mastercraft that we're sitting on. We have a Razor.
And you know, our camper is a 1999. Recently the AC just went out, like Chad said. You know, expected. It's the original AC from 20 something years ago. So you know, we want to replace things, make it more efficient. We do have 3 of the lithium ion Renogy batteries in our camper setup now. So we've got plenty of solar, plenty of battery power.
500 watts of solar. So, and we can expand on that if we need to add another solar panel, if we need to throw another battery in to be able to run the refrigerator and the AC, if we need more, you know, power storage and more coming in. you know, we can add on to our system. We have the space for it. So,
and then, you know, maybe someday if we travel a bit more, we'll look into the Starlink system so that we can upload YouTube videos on the go.
She can
I can
work.
I can work remote, and you know, we can be on the road a little bit more than we are now. But that's for future plans.
Hopefully the goal in the future. Get the Kodiak where we want it to, and start traveling more, and eventually be able to stay out longer. And you know, Tiffany can work, and we can still have an income while we're away.
That was the last question.
All right, well, we won't keep you guys too long. I don't know how long this video is going to end up being, but thank you guys all so much for subscribing, watching our videos. We really appreciate it. You know, like I've said in the past, our channel has been growing lately, which is really exciting for us. So if you guys like this content and you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do that. Hit a like to help support us, and we'll see you on the next adventure. Later, guys.